Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the RLP show. We are back tonight with the next installment of the show. I hope everybody's having a great evening. Hello, hello, hello. Tonight's topic is heartbreak. We have a very special guest. She is someone who actually sent me a testimonial from the Heartbreak Course, the Heartbreak Detox course. Keisha Charmaine, hi Queen Pope, hello beautiful. Wow, throwbacks, Tiff Tail, the Queen of Cascade, Shades of Joys, hello, hello, hello everyone. Yes, so our guest is going to be coming on here shortly. Hello from Perth, Australia. Hi, sweetheart. Sandra sent some broken heart emojis. Yep, we're going to be talking about heartbreak tonight, guys. Heartbreak. So as soon as she comes on and is available, we'll get into her story and everything she has to share. There she is. She's all ready. Look, we ready. Ben Lux Life. Hello, hello, sweetheart. Hello.
Hi,
Tony, how are
Rebecca.
you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am doing lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you so much for coming on with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for putting together the amazing resource. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to read your email and your testimonial. Okay, so
Okay.
you guys hang in here with us because Tony shared a lot. She said, here is a synopsis. I got out of my 4-year relationship on May 6th, and I began the Heartbreak Detox June 1st. In this time, the following has transpired. I have effortlessly established a strong, abundant life path morning routine. I wake up in the early morning hours. I was not a morning person. I walk the Silver Comet Trail most mornings. I was not a hiker, but always wanted to walk the trails. I began vibrating with such a high frequency that I became ultra magnetic, meeting all kinds of dynamic people. I worked through healing and forgiveness of not only my ex, but more myself. I had already forgiven him, but I didn't realize I needed to truly forgive Tony, you. I recorded my first 2 sermons while hiking, and people have been reaching out to me for spiritual advice. I spoke at a conference and everyone commented on my energy, positivity, and light. People said I am part of their spiritual path. I stopped running from my call to ministry and have decided to finally embark upon this calling. Since this weekend, things have been moving fast. I can't even sleep because of all the downloads and pieces of the puzzle that are coming together. I met a man at the club and it's feeling like we're purpose partners. Things are moving fast, but with wisdom and intentionality. We invited God into the process and he seems like he was hand-tailored for me and vice versa. Our energy and chemistry is off the charts, but also visions for the future. Excuse me. People in my circle are asking me for the info on the detox, even though they're not going through a breakup. Simply my positivity and enthusiasm have them craving the tools I'm using to achieve such rapid, transformation and peace. This is just the highlight reel, LOL. Very much looking forward to sharing my story and being able to thank Rebecca face to face. All for $47. I know, right? Okay, Tony, so let me just tell you something a little bit about that Heartbreak Course, okay? How that Heartbreak Course came about is, I filmed my show on OWN. And my very first episode I filmed was Shauna, the Asian young lady who got the no on the show. They didn't put them in order when they released them. So the first one I filmed was her. And that episode and Shauna and the heartbreak and everything just tore me apart. When I say broke me down as an empath, it guys, it tore me apart. When we wrapped and we did the kind of like recap shows and she came on and it refreshed all that pain for me, just talking to her and everything. And I was in the shower one morning and I put on this song. And it was that song, I Can't Make You Love Me. Remember that song by Bonnie Raitt? And there was Samo, one of my favorite artists. He was singing this remake of that song. And I just began to bawl my eyes out in the shower. Just channeling the heartbreak, Shauna, everything. And I literally got out of the shower and I said, I'm going to make a heartbreak course. And I'm going to keep Shauna in mind when I make it, channel that pain, channel, you know what I mean? Just channel her, and what would I have prescribed her to do if I wanted her to recover from what she's just went through. And mind you, this is the first like $47 to $97. It's like $97 retail and we discount it, but it was the first small course I've ever done. I have always done high ticket courses, guys. I've always done, I mean, I think the lowest I had a course was $597 before this. So like this is the first e-course, mini course, digital course, like and I still didn't know how to make the content $47, right? I didn't know. And so there's so much in that course, Tony, but everything I do as if unto God, right? So I just put whatever is on my heart, I don't know how to hold back. I'll just throw it all in there. And that's what I did with that course. So it definitely doesn't have the level of content of a $47 to $97 course. So anyway, that's my story. So tell me your backstory.
Yeah.
Tell me how you ended up in the Heartbreak Course. What happened in your relationship?
Well, just first, let me back up. So I am a YouTube follower of yours. I've been in your orbit, just absorbing different videos, different topics. And that is where I started. And that actually will change your mindset, because the way that this course was so effective for me was my mindset was already adjusted to some things. So everybody is not going to have the same life-changing transformation I did. I was at a certain point where I was ready for that.
You were ready.
Yes.
You were ready to do that work.
Yes. And I had been doing that type of work, and it brought it all together. So one thing I will say, Rebecca, is that I was initially blown away by the quality of the course. So as you all just heard Rebecca say, like everything she does is at a high level. So her systems are in place. The quality of the workbook, they were designed well. They felt like you because they're pretty and, slick. The platform is very easy to use. So it's a 30-day course and you log in, and day by day, everything is laid out for you. So you just go to that day and it's right there. And then the other thing about just the logistics of the course is that your energy is different in the course. So I've seen you from YouTube and from this, and you're, Auntie, this is more centered, more grounded, more, so I could tell there's a different level that you operate at when you're doing this work. And so for people who know you from this, there's, affirmations. Sometimes it's just audio. Sometimes you don't need to see your face. Just that, was impressive to me from the start. But you asked about my background. So I am going to be 43 next week. I'm from Detroit, so I'm a Midwest girl like you. With those hard-working Midwestern values, and we come down here and we get to the money in Atlanta.
Right. Yes.
That's right. And so so I've been here for 14 years, and the relationships have been up and down, not because I'm in Atlanta, but more because I wasn't dialed in on who I was and what I was looking for. So I never believed that, the ratio, you can't find a man in Atlanta. The wedding planners in Atlanta stay booked up. So people are getting married. So anybody who's out there and you heard about Atlanta, it only takes one. So
that's right.
That wasn't my thing. But so how I came to this course was I was in a 4-year relationship, and we never got engaged. We never crossed that hump. And we had a really bad breakup for about 6 months. And then we circled back with, the holiday, Happy New Year. How have you been? Oh, I've been fine. When you start missing them, and it's like, okay, let's try this again. But we did try with counseling. And so my goal was to find out, is this the person that I'm supposed to spend my life with? Those were my questions. And so in counseling, it was great. Our counselor was anointed. We really got some amazing tools, but my ex was not on board with those tools. And so I won't go into a lot of detail, but we had one of those fights, and I was like, okay, Tony, you have your answer. You wanted to know, is this the person for you? I got that deal breaker incident that happened, and it was like, no, the answer is no.
Yeah. And when you invested 4 years and you're in your 40s And that's a long time in for those of us in our 40s, guys. Things tend to move a little faster because we're more mature and we're older, and it's like I say all the time, it don't take all day to recognize sunshine, right? Because we're a little older, we know ourselves better. Kids will spend years and years, kind of dating and things like that, but we tend to move faster. And so what about the relationship for you was the most heartbreaking?
I was supposed to have my towel, my sweat rag handy because I was like, oh Lord, I'm probably gonna cry. I lost my mother a year ago on the 1st of July. So I
No,
am
honey.
right at the 1 year mark of her
Okay.
anniversary of her passing.
Yeah.
And the breakup, if you look at the dates, this occurred over Mother's Day weekend. And
Mm.
it's a very different, it's always a very difficult weekend for me. I guess here I am, I'm gonna tell y'all my business. Because no, I'm serious. You know how it is, Rebecca, like you buttoned up and you're not meaning to, but God needs to use you.
Yep.
So
Yep.
let
Yep.
him use me. So I've had pregnancy losses. Um,
Okay.
and so Mother's Day is always a rough weekend for me. But this one was particularly hard because of the fresh loss of my mother.
Okay.
And I spent that day alone.
Mm.
And so for me, that's when I realized that, my husband is not going to have me spend a rough Mother's Day by myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Not when you've lost your mother and you've lost children. And that is something that if he knows that he knows that he knows, right? Yeah. That's not something that you need to be navigating by yourself. And someone who can't be there for you at a time like that means they're just not there for you.
And I mean, again, if he ever sees this, like he's not a bad guy. But I did communicate, that this was what I needed. And so my thought process is that if I'm going to be alone, I might as well be alone. So at least I don't
And,
have the expectation of somebody being there for me. I know I'm single, but my platonic friends, they checked up on me. And so I'm like, if these people who are not, that intimate with me know that I'm hurting today, then how, like, I should be able to expect that from my relationship as well, I would think.
exactly. At a minimum,
Yeah.
at a minimum.
Yeah.
And something you're saying, Tony, for anybody watching this and or catches this in replay, I think sometimes we've got to do a status check of our relationships, our intimate relationships and our love interests, romantic entanglements, because sometimes we fail to hold up a standard of friendship. It really isn't as complicated as we make it because we can be in these romantic entanglements, relationships, and everything, and we're not even treating each other like our friends would treat us, right? Like your friends are true blue, tried, ride or die, got your back, like love you to pieces through ups and downs. And some of these romantic relationships they miss the mark. And at a minimum, we should be requiring best friend friendships out of our romantic relationships to say, would my best friend do this? Because if you're talking about potentially marrying somebody, that's the type of love that has to be there, the type of commitment, or else literally you ain't got no shot. Because you're going to go through some ish when you married that, honey, screwing ain't gonna get you through it. you know, uh, anyway, you
But
know
no, I
exactly
mean,
what I'm saying.
I have married friends. I considered you a marriage mentor to me, even though we have never met until this point. And I was like, as you all know, the ladies out there who've been married men, it gets real. And so if I can't count on you at this low level before life has thrown some things at us, then as my mother, and I kept hearing her voice, my mom from Detroit, like an OG, she like, you ain't got nothing coming. You ain't got nothing coming.
Right,
So
right. Because at the end of the day, guys, whatever you're going through currently in your relationship, just understand it will get harder. Life is going, more people are going to die. We're all getting older. We're all going to lose more people. There's going to be more loss. There's going to be more grief. There's going to be illnesses. There's going to be, I mean, There's going to be friendships that we lose that we never thought we would lose. Life is a roller coaster of ups and downs. And I think that sometimes, Tony, people think that some people are just so blessed, or some people are just, no, nobody is getting out of this thing called life without experiencing pain and loss. And so if somebody isn't tried and true, like you say, you better off being by yourself. And so let me ask you this, and this will help some of our single people. As you were in the relationship, and you're saying he's a good guy, right? So it's we don't want to paint a picture like, oh, this is just some horrible person. No, he's a good guy. What happened, and what were the signs leading up to him not being there for you in that last year in the relationship?
Well, so let me not say that he wasn't there. He helped me get through that time. But I just believe that, people can only do as much as they're able to do. And if they don't have the tools, and if they have their own trauma and things that they are dealing with, like, you're only going to get so much. There's a parable of the broken popcorn machine. It's old school. And it's a boy and his mom, and he wants some popcorn, and he's trying to get the popcorn out, and he can't get it out. And he's like, Mom, like, I see the popcorn. I see it right there. But she's like, the machine's broke. And he's like, but it's right there. And she's like, the only person who can fix this machine is a popcorn repair person. So even though you see the love, even though you see that this person could be capable of it, there's the song that you had us listen to. I want to save you, but I'm not God. I want to heal you, but that's not my job. So, I mean, just powerful things.
That's Samo.
Powerful.
Samo is Thomas spelled backwards, y'all. That artist right there, listen, it's like, I want to save you, but I'm not God. I want to heal you, but I'm not God.
Yeah. So I don't even think it was necessarily like things that I saw, but I think just for what I need at this point in my life, I need somebody who can be there for me like that.
Yeah. And guys, one of the things that I think it's so important, I said it this morning on morning prayer, that I've observed something in the last couple of weeks, that most people are looking for pain relief and a soft place to land where there is going to be some type of comfort. That's most people. Singles, I need you to hear me. You're out here looking for someone, and this goes for you if you're not healed or if you are healed. Either way, 90% of the people you're going to meet are not healed. And guess what they're trying to use you as? A human Band-Aid. Relief, comfort. Make me feel good. Just, even if it's for a minute, just take this pain away, take this suffering away. And in infatuation, in the very early stages of getting to know with someone, there's such a euphoria with the hormones and the chemicals that are released, that all that just kind of fades away. And then the reality of situations come rushing back in, and it gets real quick, right? Because all that euphoria is gone in infatuation. Everything gets more day-to-day real. And in reality, most people do not have the life skills, the coping skills, the tools, like you're saying, Tony, to be able to maturely navigate truly difficult situations. Most people are dealing with so much trauma and pain, and we go in these cycles of just hurting each other. Real talk. Because even if you're slightly more healed, Tony, and you get with someone who isn't quite as healed as you, well, you're now going to get into a toxic cycle where they start hurting you. Now you're hurting, and you start hurting them back because they've hurt you, even if it's not intentional. And this is the cycle of the common relationship, especially when it comes to hurting men because they can't admit that they're hurting. So they wear a mask and hide it all. And it's only when you get into relationship and connection that you start seeing the symptoms of things. You still don't know exactly what's happened or what's gone on, but you start seeing behaviors and symptoms that you're like, this doesn't make sense. And now you spend 4 years in a relationship only to get to the end and say,
But one thing I will say is that he gave me the gift of the woman that's sitting right here on this Instagram live talking to you all. So he
yeah,
gave me that relationship, gave me so many gifts, and I am in therapy. And my therapist called out to me that, you know, where I was 4 years ago, I'm not today. 4 years ago, I was an employee. I was trying to rise up the corporate ladder. Now I have my own business. I'm getting contracts. So like I've changed, and also I wasn't dialed in. So when we got together, I wasn't like I want to get married. So I was kind of figuring that out. So
yeah,
part of 4 years was just even realizing like, do I want to get married? I always did since the time I was a little girl, but Atlanta will beat you down. You know, the
yeah,
dating scene will beat you down. And so
yes,
I was beat down. And so over the course of those 4 years, I did get clear that yes, I am a wife. I am a mother, even if I don't have my own biological babies. This is who I
yeah,
am. And so once I got clear on that, then it was intentional about coming back to the table with him. Like, are we moving forward into marriage? Because it finally came up. And then I got my answer. And so now I'm so locked in on who I am, what I'm looking for. And that was a gift. That was the gift of this relationship that I went through.
And I think that a lot of the time, Tony, we don't like that. We don't like that we've got to go through learning experiences and the lessons in order to change. We don't like it. Nobody wants to hear that. Like real talk. I know the singles on here are like, oh, Rebecca, healing, do your work. It's not sexy. It sucks. It sucks. And but it is the processing of healing. It's the way it goes, guys. Just because you meet someone in one season doesn't mean that that's your forever, because especially if you haven't come into who you really are yet, it's dangerous to even be putting all your eggs in that basket, thinking that, oh, I'm in denial, I'm afraid, I'm not really pursuing what God's really put in my heart to do. I'm not using my gifts. I'm not walking in my strength. I'm not even being honest. I don't even know what I really want. I'm not even being intentional about what I really want. And then as we're changing the narrative and the requirements, we want them to change with us and shift. And sadly, that doesn't often happen at all.
But
So
Rebecca, can I tell you about the Heartbreak Detox course? We didn't even talk about the
yes.
course. Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Yes. So what I want to tell people is just about the simplicity of what you have laid out. So as I'm telling people, I talk about the abundant life routine, your daily routine, and that's where you start. So each week is a different theme. So the first week was those foundations. Then you moved into forgiveness. And so there was a different theme. But the thing that clicked, because we all know, I've been in therapy for 90 years. We all know we should be journaling. We all know we should be meditating. We all know we should be praying, but putting it together in such a way, and the way that you have it laid out, you talk about progress is better than perfection. And so for me, you start that first day with prayer and water. I don't drink water in the morning, and I got to be where I crave my water with my lemon. And now people are like, "Oh, let me give you some ginger oil," and let me give you. I'm like, "Oh, I can get exotic with my water." Like it was like, yes.
Right,
But then
right.
moved into meditation. And for most of us, you think you have to sit for all this time. I use an app called Insight Timer, and you can
Mhm.
search by the time. So I would maybe some days find a 2-minute meditation. So it wasn't,
Yeah.
I had to do a lot. And you just say, meditate. You don't say how or what you have to do. You're not that prescriptive. Then you add on
No.
journaling. I have a stationary line. I know I'm supposed to be writing it down. I did it in the notes on my phone. It's fine.
Right.
Then light movement. I started doing like a yoga flow during the pandemic. You don't say you have to exercise for 30 minutes or anything like that. It's like just start moving. So that was my movement until I
Yeah.
started hiking on the trail. Then
Right.
Oh God, Rebecca, the 10 pages of the uplifting book. You choose the book, but you had recommendations. And one of the
Yes.
recommendations was A Course in Miracles Made Easy. And you
Oh,
all, a lot of you all aren't going to know about this, but A Course in Miracles is a powerful metaphysical text written in the voice of Jesus. It's taught at some of the United Methodist churches, some different churches that are more thinking people's churches.
yes.
Please,
Intellectuals.
please don't come for me for that. But
Yes.
I had been trying to read it for years. I've known about it since I was a little girl because some of my family comes from the United Methodist Church and they exposed me to it and the principles
Mhm.
within it, but I could never get into it. I bought it, but I never read it. You know, they say it's like the most purchased book that people don't read. It's very dense,
Right.
very
Yeah.
powerful. And I couldn't,
It's about this
yeah,
thick, like a Bible, like a
yeah.
big, like a Bible, like
And
a
it's
New Age
written like a
Bible.
Bible.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I could never get into it. And so one of your recommendations was A Course in Miracles Made Easy. So I got that from the library app, Libby. And then that was my 10 pages. And that just reinforced all the things that I'm talking about that have been happening fast. So getting into that every day. Then you cap it off with your music, your playlist. And you're not even like, go get some gospel or something. You like, I like trap music. So I might be over here selling my drugs in my head. Don't judge me, but whatever makes you get lifted. And so I'm in the car and
Yeah.
I'm rocking out to my Rick James and, you know, like whatever I feel like. And like, I'm telling you all, it lays the foundation. And so when I've been telling people this, I think that's what they're clicking on. They're like, well, how do I get this course? And I'm like, well, you didn't
Yeah.
go through a heartbreak. Why you need it? But they're listening
Right.
to that abundant life daily routine and they want
Yeah.
what I have, because you
Right. Right.
cannot
Right. Right.
lose spending time with God, drinking water, journaling, praying. You can't lose if you're starting your day off like this every day. You're going to get so many rewards and bounty. Like that's what I think
Yeah.
everybody is looking for.
And what you're saying is so true. And what I put inside of that course is stuff I've taught for years. I mean, it's the foundation of so much of the work that I do, but it's also the foundation of my life, right? My life. What I do in my courses, guys, is I put in my courses the steps that have worked for me. What have I done that I know works? Not what, you know, theology and, scriptures or, psychologists. It's like, it's what's worked for me because I can vouch to say this got results. And what I do know for sure is that focusing on yourself is one of the most surefire ways for God to come in and take over. And once you give yourself over to the miraculous, to miracles, guys, God will begin to blow your mind, your mind. And especially when we get out of religion, when we step out of religion and we step into spirituality and peace and joy and freedom and not legalism, honey, there's a whole nother life over there.
And
You know,
Rebecca, I wanted to say that people, you like the change. People are saying, my sister said, you sound effervescent. I have a friend that's like, you sound like the old Tony. I got another friend that's like, you sound grown. Everybody is saying how different I sound. And
yeah,
so for me, again, I'm saying this is life changing because as I've gotten into this frequency and I've started to, and these are all things that I've had ready and waiting for me, and you put them all together, you help them coalesce. But as I've
yeah,
done that, like I said, now I've answered this call to ministry. I call myself, I'm like baby Rebecca. I've been running from this call. And
that's
so
right.
over this weekend, I've been telling everybody, I accepted the call to ministry. And my best friend, she's like, are we supposed, is this an announcement? Like,
Right. Like we
I'm like,
always done known this.
right,
Are you
everybody's
tripping?
known. And I'm
Like,
like, you
okay,
stealing my
Tony.
thunder. Like, she's like, okay, yay, Tony's a minister now, or Tony's gonna, yay. Everybody's been like, you don't remember I told you? And so now that I've accepted that, so much is happening so fast. It's literally scary. But
Yeah.
I'm also, of course, I'm going to join the Abundant Life Coaching Program because,
Oh, awesome.
but the thing I'll say for you, Rebecca, my word for you is that your obedience and you doing this work has caused ripples. So I got this information, and now all these other people are like, how do I get? Now I'm about to step into some of my purpose and join this coaching program so that I
Yeah.
can help other people. But all you did was be obedient to what you needed to put out there. You made it affordable, and now it's got these ripples. So your ripples causes
Yeah.
obedience. And I'm like, that's
And
powerful.
and one of the things I've learned, Tony, is that there's different seasons of our lives. I've been a high ticket coach for years. I mean, I had packages that were $25,000 and people would just pay it like it was nothing. That anointing on my life, that flow, that energy, that peace, that balance would just, people would just, without thinking twice. And then I came in to a season of my life last year where I've gone through a major transition. I mean, major. And baby, what's coming next? God is equipping me, preparing me now. The reason that God had me make this shift towards these affordable, smaller courses is because God's about to bring the masses, the masses, and I've got to be ready for what's coming next. And this movement, this healing movement, this abundant life movement is something that God has given me vision of, has shown me the huge, huge. And it is so needed in this current world and all this craziness. And we are all connected. It's not coincidence that you took the course. It's not coincidence you're going to do the coaching program. It's not coincidence. God is bringing together healers. And I just thought about another book because I have a bunch of books that are going to start to hit you guys, kind of like back to back. And I thought about a book this morning about doing a book for healers around boundaries because
Please hurry, Rebecca, because my energy, I'm extremely sensitive right now. And so energy, I'm tapped in, and I'm also very rough around the edges. So I'm snapping at people. I'm like, your energy's bad, get away. And I'm like, I can't say this to people. So I need to
right,
figure out how to refine. So absolutely.
creating those boundaries. And I'll say this for single people who are empaths and healers, and especially if you have a tendency to not have strong boundaries. I'm an enabler. I'm a recovering enabler and an empath. It is a very dangerous equation. Tony, I had to recently get honest with myself to say that in my single years, I was picking up on the pain of those I was dating and tapping into that and so succumbing to their pain that I was trying to give comfort. I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to fix it. Because as healers, we're going to attract really hurting people. And it's
And people
inevitable.
have to read that video that you did. I think it's called like "What's a Good Woman, What's a Good Man." That was from like last year. That
Yeah.
snatched my edges. I shared it with the girls text. They were like, oh my goodness, because you talk about how good people need rock solid boundaries. And you also talk about the people that are takers. And from where we come from, everybody, like, a hustler can find a mark. And so you
Thank
talk
you.
about that. And I was like, people need to hear that. That was a message. That was a good one.
And oftentimes, especially in our upbringing, if you've been raised as a Christian, you've been raised in religion, and we are taught not to say no. We are taught to be so wide open, to be a vessel, to be a servant, to be everything. And guess what that teaches us? It teaches us to give ourselves away, and we don't really stop and think about what that really means. It means we're wide open. We become a mark. We're a mark for the predators. We're prey. And I think that we often underestimate how vulnerable we are. And I know previously my ex-husband, I I have my children, my boys to show for it, but listen, should we have ever been married? Broken, hurting, jacked up. I got into that thing and it was like, it took me years to untangle myself, years to get to that point of recognizing this is not working. This was never working. And I done married a client.
Ah, can't be dating and marrying the clients.
I wasn't a professional coach yet, but that's what especially when I came into my professional coaching career, it was like, I married a client.
I should have charged him, not married him.
He needed an invoice. I wish I could invoice for the 10 years of my life, all the free coaching and healing. And then now I'm jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk. And that is something you're going to have to be really careful about going forward. And especially because men do wear such fixed masks and they hide their pain because it's not masculine. We have to really slow down and take our time, Tony. This new guy, slow your roll.
Okay, Auntie.
I mean, like, I'm talking reel it in, invoke Holy Spirit, anointing, ask God to show you what you can't see, what you don't know. It's all pertinent. And take your time. Just really take your time, honey, because you're worth it. You've got a lot to protect. You didn't get here passively without a lot of work. And honey, and you have to protect it because relationships can be either divine or they can be distractions. And if it's not divine and it's a distraction, all this new purpose and clarity, and next thing you know, you off on a tangent down a road you never intended to be on, and you delaying your blessings again. Right? Anyway. So take your time because you're worth it. You're really worth it. And I think I'm going to go and take and make an Abundant Life daily routine course. I have one that I kind of started making, but I don't think it was complete. And I just gave it away. It was free, but I'm going to go and make an e-course for it so that people like your friends who want just that content without the heartbreak content. I think I'll do something like that. So
Please
stay on the lookout for that.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you again for what you do. And what you will to do. You carry your people around you. You are a force for good, and you are creating healers, and that is what we're called to do. So I just can't thank you enough. And even still, I'll say one last thing because I gotta go. I got a outing. That's why I'm all dressed up. But just the fact that people need to plug into this. Like, people need this work. They need this information. And, if you start with the free information, that's fine. Like I was going to say, I wouldn't have been able to recognize the potential in this man if I hadn't been listening to your videos to understand what a good man is, how not to overlook a good man. And then my best friend, she's also a marriage mentor to me. And so I was ready. So other people in Atlanta may overlook him or different men, but I know because you taught me and she taught me, I know what to look for. I'm like, oh, he went to California. Man. Oh, he reads. Right. Oh, okay. Yep. I know what to look for. Right. Yes.
Exactly.
So, thank you.
Well, I love it. I'm so super excited for you, sweetheart. And I'm just so happy for you. So happy for you. Let me pray. God, I thank you for Tony. I thank you, God, for where she's at in her life. We ask you, God, for continued blessing and anointing. Magnify her gifts like never before. Give her fortitude and boundaries to protect her heart and her mind in this journey. God, I ask you to continue to open doors for her that walk her even more abundantly into purpose and perfect alignment. I ask for the right people around her to protect her, watch over her. We thank you in advance for prosperity on the next level, love on the next level, peace on the next level, and even the grace as she moves forward and administer and coach and everything that you're about to bring forth. We just thank you in advance, God, for everything that you're doing. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
You're welcome. Good night, sweetheart. Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys, so that was Tony. And so let me see if anybody else had any questions because our other guest wasn't able to make it tonight. Um, One of the things I want to say about heartbreak, guys, is that healing heartbreak takes intention and it takes soul searching and it takes a lot of work. Healing heartbreak takes a lot of work. Don't think just because time has gone by that the heartbreak is healed. Don't think just because it was 5 years ago that you're okay. If you haven't gotten help and you haven't done what it takes to work through it, it could be right there and you now have it normalized it. You've normalized it. So make sure that you're really, really digging deep and you're actually doing what it takes. That looks like therapy, coaching, books, my Heartbreak course. Just make sure you're really, really seeking answers for yourself to heal your heart so you can give yourself permission to really move on and live your best life. Let me see real quick if I had another question in the email. Let's see what we've got here. All right. We've got someone writing in. Oh, could you please list the books you were talking about tonight? It is A Course in Miracles Made Easy by Alan Cohen. A Course in Miracles is a blue book. This is the name of it. It's a blue book, and his name is Alan Cohen, is the author. Ash, you said we have lots of questions. Okay. Ash, should I just go in here and take some of the emails? This one is really long. That one's really long. We had so many questions for people trying to do the scholarship that I gave away last week when I did 5 of them. Okay, let's see. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so in the emails, Ashley. Okay, I see them. I see a couple. I just see a lot of the scholarship ones. Okay. Hold on, guys. I'm going back in. Lots and lots of... All right, here's one. I'm going to call her Jay. Jay says, first and foremost, thank you for all that you do. I've been watching your YouTube videos for about 1 year now, and they have changed me for the better. I'm a woman of God, and I love how you incorporate spirituality into your content. My question is regarding dating after trauma. How do you know when you're ready to date again after working through trauma? Context. I've been working with a therapist for 2 years to unpack childhood trauma and repeated sexual trauma in adulthood. I've remained single through it all. We've talked a bit about dating and she encourages me to get back out there. However, I feel there's a gap between what we discuss in our sessions and how to apply suggested behavioral changes to my dating life. I don't know how to date now that I am more cognizant of my triggers and less naive about who people are. I also don't really feel motivated to date again, but I just turned 30 and launched my career as an attorney, so my family is pressuring me to get on with it. Not sure if my hesitation is caused by the fear of choosing the wrong person as a life partner or loss of confidence since gaining weight during the pandemic, or both. I appreciate any advice you can provide. Okay, Jay. And she said, oh, and I signed up for your bait weight challenge. So excited. Awesome, sweetheart. So, Jay, here's the thing. Nobody can tell you what you're ready for except you. Just because you're 30 and your family's pressuring you doesn't mean that you're ready to date. It needs to be coming from a place of true desire for partnership and fun and companionship. It can't be coming from a place of fear about your age or feeling like it's time to do that, if that makes sense. So anything we do from a place of fear or pressure is not going to go well. You want to make sure that you get into a heart posture and a mindset that is actually conducive to healthy dating so that you can have good experiences versus just going into dating because you feel pressured. And it's also really important to understand that people's timelines for your life does not mean that that is the timeline that God has for you or yourself. You're 30, you're young, you're getting into your career. However, spiritually, divine alignment has more to do with success in dating than almost anything else. Your mindset has so much more to do with success in relationships than anything else. So if you are going to go and approach dating without the right mindset and positivity and joy and excitement, then guess what? You're going to get results that reflect that. So if I were you, I would wait longer. I would work on, if you're in the bait weight challenge with me, work on dropping a few of your COVID pounds and, work on you and work on mindset before you even start dating, because I would hate to have you jump out there and start dating when you didn't have the right spirit about it. And then you have these bad experiences that reinforce, your fears, reinforce, some of the reasons why you might be holding back. And you don't, and granted, you're not going to have all wonderful, amazing experiences, but you're almost assuredly going to have better experiences being positive, full of light and love, being light, casual, encouraging, having a positive outlook on it is going to definitely get you better results and have more fun than if you go into it kind of half, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and doing it from a place of fear. That's like anything in life. I don't think that, really anything you do in life is going to be affected by a mindset of fear. Miss Hall of Fame says feminine energy. Yes, the divine dating course is coming where we're going to learn how to date with feminine energy and spiritual alignment. Making Serious Bank, I find it admirable how you can work with so much grace under pressure. Thank you, sweetheart. So yeah, that's my answer for Jay. Let me see if I see another one since we have a little bit more time. How do I recover from relationship anxiety? Hi, Rebecca. This is M. After taking time, 2 years, to heal from my previous marriage, I tried and failed to keep my first new relationship post-divorce. I had been dating my now ex-girlfriend for 7 to 8 months, and during the first 5 months, I felt great about what direction the relationship was headed. We were discussing children, what life as blended family would look like, etc. However, at month 6, as my feelings deepened, I started experiencing a lot of fear and anxiety about the relationship and withdrew emotionally. I've seen that before. I went back to therapy to figure out what was happening with me and was diagnosed with relationship anxiety. Wow, that's new. I failed to communicate with her what I was going through and that I was falling in love with her due to my fear of what eventually would come to pass, her walking away and moving on with someone else. I eventually worked up the courage to confess my true feelings to her and told her what I was struggling with toward the end of our relationship. I took full accountability for my part in the failure of our relationship, and we still communicate to this day. She knows that I love her and want a second chance. However, she wants to give the new relationship a try. I'm respecting her decision to move forward with the new relationship, and I'm working on myself and getting to the root of what caused my fears and anxiety to manifest. So with all that said, here's my question. While working on myself, is it wise to continue communicating with my ex given the current circumstances? I love her and I'm not ready to just sever our connection. I could definitely use your auntie advice. So M, here's the thing. She's in a relationship. She's moved on. She's wanting to focus on that relationship and she's wanting to give it a chance. What does that mean for you? It means that if you stay in communication with her, you are going to continue to be hurt. You're still in love with her. You still want a relationship with her. However, she is with someone else and she is not available. That means that continuing to talk to her is going to only set yourself up for disappointment, cause more relationship anxiety and distrust, especially if she's kind of entertaining you while she's in that new relationship, right? Because that's not really respectful. So, at the end of the day, my auntie advice is for you to leave her alone. If it's meant to be, she will come back. If it's not, you will move on and you will find new love and a new relationship for you. It's important to remember that there are 7.8 billion people on earth. Approximately half of those are women. I don't even know the numbers about single women, but to think that there's just one person for you, or that she is the end all be all, the very best thing that could ever be for you, is to be limiting God and limiting yourself and your options, your opportunities. God has someone for you. God has people for you. You want to make sure you open up your heart and go ahead and heal to let her go. You did not mess up anything that was meant to be. So part of it, if what I hear inside of your message, kind of reading between the lines, is that there's, some regret. You feel like you messed it up. You loved her very much. As you were falling in love, you were pumping your brakes and sabotaging. You feel guilty and you feel sad about doing that because you feel like you messed it up. And the truth is that anybody that's really for you and anybody that's got true love for you, you can't really mess it up to the level, because I mean, you didn't like break her heart kind of thing. It was more like you were emotionally unavailable, right? But true love circles back around. True love is true. She wouldn't be able to let go and move on to someone else if she loved you the way you truly need to be loved. You guys would still be together, because especially as you were sharing what was really going on with you towards the end, that would have melted her heart, and she would have been really honest and open about giving you another chance, because that's what love does. Love hopes beyond all things. It holds on beyond even the point of logic. True love causes you to hang in there when everyone else would give up. It causes you to believe even when it seems like, oh, all hope is lost. So I think you should move on. I think that you got to give a chance to someone else. And, if it's meant to be, she'll come back. But right now, you got to take care of you. You got to focus on yourself and open up your heart for someone new when you're done grieving this relationship. That is my honest opinion. All right, so listen, guys, I have been awake since 4:30 this morning. I can feel my sleepiness coming on me. I am definitely not setting my alarm for 4:30 and 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm going to get some rest. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Thank you to our guest, Tony, for sharing. For those of you who know that you need to work on heartbreak, that you've gone through some things that you're still grieving, make sure you click the link in my bio for the Heartbreak Detox course. Also, the Bait Weight Challenge is still in the preparation week. We have not kicked off until Monday. So if you want to jump in and do your prep to be ready to start next Monday, we are the enrollment is still available and open. You can get in and get in our Facebook group. Just like Tony said, guys, it may only be $97, but it's thousands of dollars worth of content, because I just pour my everything into my courses, into my programs. So make sure you grab your Bait Weight spot before the doors close. We start Monday, and this is the prep week. All right, blessings and abundance. Also, if you want to donate to Rebecca Lynn Pope Ministries, you can do that at the link in my bio as well. If you want to contribute to support this healing movement, you could do that at the link in my bio also. All right, blessings and abundance. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.